Shlomo Melech writes, there's nothing new under the sun. Meaning, as wicked as our generation is, it's nothing new. There have always been wicked people, and there have always been righteous people. In order for the world to continue standing, it has to have 36 tzaddikim. 36 people that are righteous beyond our understanding, that exist in every generation. So long as they exist, the world has enough merit to exist. If they don't exist, our world would not exist. Now, as far as the rest of the people, there have always been righteous, there have always been wicked. In a generation of a couple of thousand years ago, a little more than 2,000 years ago, almost 2,500 years ago, the generation of the Bet HaMikdash, the generation of Isaiah the prophet. Now that generation, if you rationalize it without knowing the information, you would say, this must be the most righteous generation in the world. Why? They have all the reasons to be righteous. They have a Bet Mikdash, the first Bet Mikdash. It's not only a thing of beauty, it's a building that's literally an open miracle 24 hours a day. Every time they brought a korban, somebody made a sin by accident. They turn on a light on Shabbat by accident, not on purpose. If it's on purpose, they kill him. But if it's an accident, they have to bring a cow. They have to bring some korban to the Bet HaMikdash because it's an accident. The korbanot, by the way, are only for accidental sins, not for a purpose. If it's on purpose, it's death penalty. Now, accidentally, he violated Shabbat. He was so righteous that he admitted he made an accident. Nobody saw it. Hashem saw it. When nobody else saw it, he admitted it. He went all the way from wherever he was in the country, stopped his business, closed down shop for a couple of weeks to go trek all the way to Yerushalayim with his cow to go bring this $25,000 cow for what? For accidentally turn on the light. That's how righteous he was. Amazing, right? Now he arrived at Bet HaMikdash. Kohanim says, oh, Baruch haba. They start singing. He starts crying because why? He's crying. He's doing tshuva. Now, something amazing happens. After they take the blood, because most of the korbanot, unlike what we think, Gemara Masechet Yoma explains it. Also Masechet Zvachim explains it. We think that they put the cow on the altar and that's it, and it's done. That's wrong. In reality, only a small part of the cow goes in. Only a few innards go in. The rest of it is eaten by the Kohanim. The main part of the korban is the blood. They take the blood and put it on the altar. That's the main part. As far as the meat, most of it is eaten. We thought that they just, my whole life, I thought they take the cow, slaughter it, put it on the altar, and then it goes to Shamayim or something. That's what I thought. That's not how it works. Most of the korban is blood. They take the blood, spread it in specific places, and so on and so forth. Depends what type of korban it is, whether it's inside the Kodesh Kodashim or outside the Kodesh, and so on and so forth. Now, what happens at this point? After you put the whole thing, a fire in the image of a lion comes from heaven, enormous, monstrous, huge, beautiful lion comes from heaven and takes the korban. For everybody to see. Imagine, you're right there, Ishtabach Shimo La'ad, a lion comes from heaven, takes, Ishtabach, who's not going to do tshuva? If the guy was crying before for a sin he made by accident, by now he's hysterical. Why? He just saw a lion from heaven. And everybody else is crying too. Why? Hopefully that lion doesn't eat me. And guess what? Every day, all day. All day you see miracles. All day. The Kohen puts a little incense. The incense makes a pillar from where the Bet HaMikdash is all the way to heaven, straight line. Even as if there's a hurricane, even if there's an earthquake, even if there's a wind, if there's rain, doesn't make a difference. The pillar of smoke goes all the way from Bet HaMikdash like a beam, all the way to outer space. Smoke. Nothing can stop it. I mean, it's open miracles. No woman had a miscarriage. No woman had a miscarriage. Not a single fly ever entered Bet HaMikdash, even though there's a bunch of meat. Go to a butcher shop. 5 minutes, you'll see 50,000 flies. Go to a butcher shop, see how many flies are there. Why? That's nature. It's not that it smells. Not that it's not fresh. It's just nature. You have blood. You have all types of stuff. There's flies. Your garbage can has flies. Even if you clean your garbage can, it's still going to have flies. You go to a butcher shop, it's going to have flies. Bet HaMikdash, no flies. Countless miracles happen in Bet HaMikdash. So you would think everybody not only should be righteous, everybody should be so righteous, it should be a generation of Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe Rabbeinu. Everybody's Moshe Rabbeinu. That's what you should think. Everybody should be called Moshe. Why? That's how right. You see a lion, you see all these things. Tabach Shema. What does Isaiah say? Isaiah says, you women, you wicked, you Reshaim, you wicked women that are walking around with high heels and bells and wigs on your head. You'll see what a Kadosh Baruch Hu does to you when eventually the things that you're trying to motivate the others, that's how he's going to punish you. And the women answer, well, what do you want from us? What? You're making the Goyim look at you? The women say to him, what's the worst that's going to happen? The Goyim are going to want to marry us? So let them marry us. These are Jewish girls. Bet Yaakov. Chachamim ask, who are these wicked women? Live at the time of Bet HaMikdash. Who are these wicked women? What is this, Amalek? Who is this? He says, these were the rabbi's wives in that generation. Bet HaMikdash, Kodesh Kodashim, Kohen Gadol, meaning nothing new under the sun. Women that wanted to be wicked were wicked. Women that wanted to be righteous were righteous. Eventually, everybody got what they deserve, reward or punishment. Nothing new under the sun. This is to teach us that as far as the generation that you're in it because of you, not because of anybody else. And you could be Moshe Rabbeinu in this generation. That's what the Rambam writes in Halacha, Ilchot Shuvah. He specifically says, every single person can be righteous like Moshe Rabbeinu. He doesn't say, just in a generation of Moshe Rabbeinu, just in a generation of Bet HaMikdash, just in a generation of... No. Every generation. You can be righteous like Moshe Rabbeinu. How? Learn Torah. Now, I brought a couple of books yesterday, but I didn't say it, and I'm going to say it to you today. Most people know this version of me. You don't know me from Wall Street. Maybe you saw a few pictures or something like that, or you saw a few articles if you looked me up. But you know this version of me. Most people just know this version. Now, when I first started doing tshuva, I wasn't this version. You know what I was a version? I was a very, very different version. The version was that I knew I need to change. I knew I don't know anything. And I knew that if I don't submit to somebody bigger than me, somebody smarter than me, why even bother? My whole life, I was the leader. My whole life, I was the smartest. My whole life, I was the richest. My whole life. No one told me what to do. But I knew that if I continue this way, how could I progress? Why? Because I'm going into a different world. So you see, yesterday I taught you guys shiur that the Ramban writes where he says, Shma bini musar avicha. Hear, my son, the musar of your father. Where sometimes you have to make sure the guy is listening. Then you have to make sure that you show him some love. But you have to give him musar. But remember, you're giving him musar out of love. So you see, today, when I teach whatever I teach, you come to my house, you're going to see there's a lot of books. There's a lot of books, a lot of impressive books, more books than here. You have a lot of books, and I try to read those books. A lot of impressive books. But you know what was my first halacha book? My first halacha book for Shabbat. Now, Shabbat, it's a big mitzvah. No Shabbat, no tshuva. No Shabbat, no Judaism. Shabbat, without Shabbat, there's no Judaism. Without Shabbat, there's no tshuva. You can keep 612 mitzvot. You don't keep Shabbat, there's no Shabbat. There's no Judaism, nothing. So, you come to my house, you're going to say, oh wait, it was probably Yalkut Yosef. It was probably the Gemara Masechet Shabbat. It was probably the other one, Shabbat. Yeah, there's a bunch of Shabbat books there. You know what was my first halacha book for Shabbat? When my rabbi told me, Yaron, it's time to keep Shabbat. I started making some excuses. I said, Shabbat is the time that I usually take a break. I watch some movies. I go to the casino. I have a good time. I have such a tough life. I need Shabbat to go relax, do whatever I want. And then I realized that I was full of it, and I said, okay, I'll keep Shabbat. How do I keep Shabbat, though? Okay, I'm going to keep Shabbat, but how do I keep Shabbat? How do I do it? Like, what do I do? I just stay there, like this, hold my breath? What? What do I do? He says, don't worry, I'm going to show you some love. He didn't say I'm going to show you some love, but that's what he did. I'm going to show you some love. I'm going to send you an halacha book of how to keep Shabbat. Now, you would think he would give me the book that I gave you guys for free. Or perhaps show me a website. Show me a website, go to this website, Shabbat.com. You'll keep Shabbat that way, right? You know what was my first Shabbat book? This. This is my first Shabbat book. Now you're going to laugh, but you're wrong. This is one of the best Shabbat books in the world. Yeah, it's a children's book, but that's how I learned how to keep Shabbat. Now, Baruch Hashem, I have many other books that have more details, but this is how I started. It's a children's book, but written by Talmidei Chachamim. And if you read it word for word, you're going to learn how to keep Shabbat the best possible way. And if you advance, you'll read other books, and there's more details. But if you're going to be one of these people that says, nah, what am I, a kid? I'm going to learn Shabbat from a kid's book. You're never going to keep Shabbat. You're never going to be a real Jew. You're always going to be a faker because you're full of arrogance. And Toivat Hashem kol gvalev. Hashem despises arrogant people. Why, you're too good for it. Your rabbi said, read the kid's book, that's what you read. If the rabbi suggested something else, you read something else. But if the rabbi said, this is the book, you, Yaron, Reuven, the smartest guy on the block, that's what you're going to read to learn Shabbat, guess what? That's what Yaron reads. Why? The rabbi said so. The rabbi said so. That's what people don't understand. They say, wait, the rabbi said this to me, but do I really have to listen to him? Maybe I should ask a different rabbi. Maybe I should shop around, go to Walmart, see like aisle 6, get a new rabbi every week. Now, if you think this is like a one-time thing, wrong. I also had a new Musar book. I had to learn Musar. Why? I had to fix myself. My wife had to fix, everyone had to fix themselves. I had to learn Midot. I didn't even know that Midot existed. I just knew if you're angry, that's the way you are. If you're cheap, that's the way you are. I didn't know you're supposed to change. So my rabbi says, you have to learn Musar. I said, okay, how do you learn Musar? We learn a shiur. Okay, but what else? Is there a book? Yeah, I'm going to send you a book. Now, Rabbi Ephraim wasn't exactly rich. So each one of these was mamash like a life-saving investment into me. He sent me a Musar book. You know what's my first Musar book? This one. This is my first Musar book. It's called The Incredible Voyage of Good Midot. It's a children's book, but I bet you any adult that reads it, actually studies this book, changes his life. And by the way, if you like it, there's a whole series of them. The whole series of this. Why? It's all based on Ochot Tzadikim. The real Musar book. The real Musar book is Ochot Tzadikim, one of the greatest Musar books that was ever written. But if you give a new Baal Tshuva that doesn't even know what Tshuva is yet, Ochot Tzadikim, he says, Rabbi, this Judaism is too big for me. I'm 50 years old, I'm 40 years old, I'm 30 years old. You give me Ochot Tzadikim, what do I do with it? I got to the second page, I already started blowing smoke out of my ears. I don't know what he's saying. He's saying I'm supposed to be holy? What is he talking about? He's saying I'm supposed to do this, I'm supposed to do that. What is this guy? Does he know what generation I'm living in? So the rabbi that shows love, sometimes he tells the guy, I love you, that's why I'm telling you things that are against your logic. Because your logic thinks that you're much bigger than what you really are. In reality, you're a child, and you need to learn children's books. Learn Musar from a children's book. If you're an arrogant person who thinks he knows it all, guess what? You're going to say, listen, Rabbi, what, are you insulting me? You're telling me children's book? What, are you serious? I'm a Wall Street executive. I made $1.5 million in one day. I was on CNBC, on Bloomberg, on CNN. I was on the board of directors of company. I mean, what, are you kidding me? You're sending me a children's book? But guess what? You know what everyone said? Nothing. Thank you. I love you. I'm going to read it from page to page. And every day, my wife and I will read it page to page, every little character, every little thing. We go to the back and double check just like a kid. Why? Because that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. And we finished this one, and we got another one. and another one. And you'll come to my house, you're going to see, wow, he has a lot of kids' books. You're going to think it's for my kids. No, this was for me. These were all for me. But you see, that's the difference. Nobody's going to admit you this stuff. I don't care what you think. I care what HaKadosh Baruch Hu thinks. That's the difference that people can't get through their mind. They care too much about what people think. They care too much about what their friends think. They're only going to do this. They're only going to do that. She's only going to wear this. She's only going to wear that. You forget, HaKadosh Baruch Hu runs the world. If you're going to serve him like he wants. Not like you want. Stop questioning him. Why did you send me in this generation? Why did you send me no money? Why did you send me this? Why did you send me that? He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. If we simply stop questioning him, you're going to start winning. But if every single time something happens in your life, every time some gas comes out of your body, you're going to change religion, you're going to change opinion, you're going to change rabbi, you're going to change something, guess what? You're never going to get ahead. You're going to be a failure for the rest of your life. In order to succeed, you have to humble yourself. You have to realize there's a world you know and there's a world you don't know. In the world you know, do what you got to do. In the world you don't know, which is the Torah world, keep your mouth shut and listen to the rabbi. Listen to what the rabbi... Why? They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They've been here for a while. They read a lot more than you did. They know what HaKadosh Baruch Hu said. But if you're only going to listen to yourself, guess what? You're not even going to ever graduate the kids level. You're never going to graduate. Why? Because you never started. And that's what people need to understand. You need to make sure that if you're going to do tshuva, first rule, God runs the world. Second rule, don't forget the first rule. The rest of it will just take some time. The rest of it will just take some time. Rabbi says, you do. The book says, you do. Hashem says, you do. Why? That's your job in the world. That's your job in the world. Be simple. Don't ever think you're too big or too smart or too this or too that for anything. Because if HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought this to your life, that means he wants this. He doesn't want something else. When somebody came to the Chafetz Chaim and said to him, Kvod Harav, how do I do the will of Hashem? How do I do the will of Hashem? Chafetz Chaim says to him, you want to do the will of Hashem? He says, yes. He says, you sure? He says, yes. He says, regardless of what happens in your life, be happy. Regardless of what happens, car accident, health crisis, financial crisis, marriage, divorce, kid, no kid, regardless, serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, full happiness, full extent, full power. Every tefillah with kavanah. Every time you give a shiur, 100%. Every time you learn, 100%. Everything you do for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, 100%. As if this is it. As if, Hashem, I know you're here. You do that, you're going to fulfill His will. You're going to get to Gan Eden. You're going to go to Olam Haba. You don't, 50-50.